We hosted a family reunion for the first time in years. My cousin brought her fiancé. Turns out, he grew up in our neighborhood. When he saw our house, he went pale. He pulled me aside and whispered, "That woman across the street, she used to watch me through the window. Every night." I asked if he was sure. He said, "She told me my parents gave me to her." I believed her for years. We thought it was just a trauma memory. But when he confronted her, she smiled and said, "You came home after all." What we found in her basement storage room should have been turned over to police years ago. I live in Springfield, Missouri. Been here most of my life. I'm 44, married to my wife, Laura, with 2 kids. We're the kind of family that keeps to ourselves mostly, but Laura had this idea: let's host a family reunion. Said it had been too long, and with the house finally paid off and fixed up, it was time to do something for the family. We invited everyone, my siblings, cousins, aunts, uncles. Some hadn't seen each other in years. My cousin Sarah, who lives in Kansas City, texted last minute saying she'd come and was bringing her fiancé, Jason. None of us had met him. She seemed excited, said we'd love him. I remember thinking, finally, something normal. The reunion was on a hot Saturday afternoon in July. Classic cookout setup, grill fired up, coolers full of beer and soda, kids running around. Laura made too much food, and nobody complained. Around 3 p.m., Sarah's car pulled up. I walked out to the curb to say hey. She got out and waved. Jason followed behind her. He was tall, tan, quiet-looking. But he stopped in the middle of the street and just stood there. He was staring at the house across from ours. It's a small blue house, paint peeling, blinds always shut. Ruth lives there. Always alone. She's probably in her 70s now. I've seen her maybe 3 times in the last 5 years. The neighborhood knows her as the quiet one. Jason didn't say anything at first. Just stared. His skin turned pale fast. I walked up. "You all right, man?" He didn't look at me. He was still staring across the street. Then he said something that made my stomach drop. "That woman, she used to watch me. Every night." I blinked. "You mean Ruth?" He nodded, slowly. "She used to knock on my window. Said my parents gave me to her. I believed her. For years. I thought maybe he was joking or remembered wrong. I said, "You're serious?" He looked at me like he was seeing something that wasn't there. "We used to live here. Right on this street. I was maybe 6. My mom and dad moved us out fast. Said it wasn't safe. I thought it was about something else. But when I saw her face just now, I remembered. All of it." Sarah walked over. She looked confused and embarrassed. Tried to brush it off. "Jason, maybe you're just..." He cut her off. "No. I know her. I know that house. I used to have dreams about it. We got him inside." Laura kept the others busy while I took Jason into the garage for some quiet. He looked like he wanted to crawl out of his own skin. "She said I belonged to her," he told me. "She'd tap on my window. Whisper my name. One time she told me my mom gave me to her because she was too tired to take care of me. I didn't tell anyone for years. I thought it was a nightmare. But she was real. I didn't know what to say. You grow up on a street your whole life thinking it's normal. But this guy remembered a whole different version of it. I asked if he ever told his parents. He said no. They moved suddenly, and he never brought it up. He wanted to confront her. I said that might not be smart. He didn't care. After dinner, when most of the guests were chatting in the backyard, Jason walked across the street. I followed. Sarah stayed behind, worried. Ruth answered the door. Didn't seem surprised. She had this weird calm about her. Like she'd been expecting this moment. Jason didn't say anything at first. She smiled. "You came home after all," she said. Jason's voice was tight. "Why did you do that to me?" She didn't deny anything. "You were mine," she said. "Your parents made a promise. But they broke it." He asked. "What promise?" She didn't answer. Just stepped aside and said, "You want to see the room?" That's when I called the cops. I didn't care if she was senile or sick. That line, "You were mine," it was enough. Police arrived 20 minutes later. She went quietly. Sat down in her old recliner like nothing was wrong. Then they searched the house. Her basement door was locked with 3 latches. Down there was a storage room with a small lamp and rows of plastic tubs and old shelves. They found drawings. Children's clothes. A pair of boys' shoes that still had dirt on them. Labeled. Dated. Some were marked with Jason's name. Others had names we didn't recognize. There were Polaroids, too. Dozens of them. Kids in pajamas. Kids in a backyard. Some in a dark room with 1 light bulb overhead. One of them looked like my younger brother, Eric. He went missing for almost 8 hours when he was 4. My parents said they found him in the woods nearby, said he must have wandered off. But that photo, he had the same pajamas. I nearly threw up. Jason gave his full statement. Now the FBI is involved. They're trying to connect the names with old missing persons reports. Jason's been wrecked since that day. He told Sarah he doesn't know who he is anymore. He doesn't remember everything, but enough. Enough to know it wasn't just in his head. Sarah called off the wedding a month later. She said she still loved him but didn't know how to help him through something that deep. I can't blame her. And me. I grew up across the street from a woman who stole children. Who maybe got inside my own house once. Who might have touched my brother. I still sleep with a bat under the bed now. I still wake up at 3 a.m. thinking I hear tapping on the window. After Ruth was taken away, most of the neighborhood acted like it never happened. Like they didn't see the squad cars. Like they didn't see the evidence bags or hear the rumors. But I couldn't pretend. I couldn't forget what I saw in that basement. Neither could Jason. The FBI came back twice. Interviewed me, my brother, even my parents. Eric, my brother, broke down during the first one. Said he remembered the smell of bleach. Said someone brushed his hair with a soft comb. He thought it was a dream. My dad nearly punched the wall when he heard that. A week later, a detective called me back. Said they found fingerprints in that basement. Some matched Jason. Others didn't. A few belonged to missing kids from the late 80s. But there were 2 sets they couldn't identify. One of them was small, like a kid's. The other was from an adult. That second set didn't belong to Ruth. And that's when everything shifted. The cops started to wonder if Ruth had help. Maybe a partner. Maybe someone who brought kids to her or watched them. Someone who had access to their homes. Someone close. Jason got real quiet after that news. Said something felt wrong. He couldn't shake the feeling that someone else had been inside his house when he was little. Not just Ruth. Someone who unlocked the back door one night. Someone who whispered his name from the hallway. He started going through old boxes at his parents' place. Looking for anything, old photos, letters, notes. Anything that might point to who else was involved. And then one night he called me, around midnight. Voice shaking. "I think it was someone my dad knew," he said. "A friend. I found a picture of him standing outside Ruth's house. Smiling." I asked for a name. He gave it. It was a name I knew. A name I hadn't heard in years. Tom Riddell. He used to live 2 streets over. Ran a small carpentry business. Came by a lot when we were kids. Always had candy or tools in his truck. Said he was helping our dads fix stuff. Everyone liked him. He vanished in the mid-90s after a fire destroyed his house. People said he moved away. Nobody looked for him. Jason found out he never moved. He changed his name. Started a new life 1 town over, in Nixa. I drove there the next morning. Found his name in a local directory. Different last name, but same face in the photo. I told Jason. He didn't wait. He showed up at the man's house that night. Knocked on the door. Tom answered. And before Jason could say a word, Tom said, "You're one of hers." Jason froze. Tom, or whatever his name really was, stood there like nothing was strange. Like Jason was just a neighbor stopping by for coffee. "You're one of hers," Tom repeated. "Didn't think I'd see you again. Thought you'd forget." "Most of them did." Jason said later. It was like being hit in the chest. The way he said it, calm, like it was just a fact. No fear. No guilt. Just recognition. Jason stepped back. Pulled out his phone. Started recording. "You helped her," he said. "You brought me there." Tom didn't deny it. "She believed you were special. Said she felt something the moment she saw you. She had her ways. Not everyone understood." Jason. "You broke into my house." Tom. "Your dad left the window cracked. We didn't force anything." Jason stopped recording after that. He was shaking too hard. He didn't go to the police right away. He came to me first. "I need to know if this goes deeper," he said. "Because if my dad left that window cracked, if he knew..." He couldn't finish the sentence. I didn't know what to tell him. So we did something I'm not proud of. We confronted his parents. It was quiet. Private. Just the four of us. Jason, me, and his mom and dad in their kitchen. His mom cried before we even started. His dad went red in the face, tried to deny it at first. Then Jason played the recording. After that, his dad just sat down and stared at the table. Didn't say a word. His mom broke. "He told us you'd be safe," she whispered. "He said it was for a few nights. That she just needed to feel like a mother again. She lost her son years ago. We didn't know she was sick. We didn't know what she was." Jason stood up. Walked out of the room. I followed. We didn't speak the whole way back to Springfield. That night I got a call. It was Ruth. She'd somehow gotten my number. I still don't know how. Her voice was soft. Like a lullaby. "They always come back," she said. "Even if they don't remember. That's the bond. That's the promise." I hung up. Called the FBI. Turns out Ruth had a hidden phone in lockup. Smuggled in, they think, by someone on the inside. Which means this thing might be bigger than we thought. Someone's still helping her. Someone's still watching. After Ruth's phone call, everything sped up. The FBI took it seriously. They launched a deeper investigation, checking every old connection Ruth had, neighbors, old coworkers, even hospital records. They found a disturbing pattern: 6 different families who moved away from our neighborhood between 1985 and 1995, all with young children. 4 of those kids had reported nightmares or visits, at night. None were ever followed up by police. And worse, 2 of those children disappeared permanently. One of them was listed as a runaway. The other? Still unsolved. But the fingerprints in Ruth's basement matched one of them. Jason was falling apart by the day. He barely slept. He kept asking me if he should have gone to the cops sooner, if maybe he could have remembered more, saved someone. I kept telling him it wasn't his fault. But the truth was, we were all failing to see something that had been right in front of us for decades. Then Jason's dad vanished. Just like that, packed a bag and left without telling anyone. His phone was off. His truck was found abandoned at a gas station in Kansas. The FBI thinks he was tipped off. That someone inside the system warned him. A week later, Tom's house caught fire. But this time, it didn't look like an accident. Jason was the one who saw the flames first. He'd driven back to Nixa just to watch the house, see if Tom would try to run. The fire department found remains inside, but they weren't Tom's. They belonged to a woman. Late 40s. Still unidentified. Then the letter arrived. It came in the mail, no return address, just Jason's name typed on the envelope. Inside was a single photograph, Jason as a child, standing in Ruth's backyard. He looked happy, smiling, holding a small red ball. On the back, in handwriting that wasn't Ruth's, it said, "We took care of you." That's when Jason broke. He checked himself into a psychiatric facility. Said he needed to figure out which parts of his life were real, and which were planted. I don't blame him. I've started wondering the same about my own past. Then came my turn. The FBI questioned me again, asked about old family connections, my dad's job, my mom's volunteer work. They asked if I remembered a woman named Gail Shoemaker. I didn't. Then they showed me a photo. It was my babysitter. She used to watch me and Eric when my parents worked late. I hadn't seen her since I was 8. She used to bring homemade cookies. Let us stay up late. Always smelled like peppermint. The FBI said she was Ruth's sister. Had a record under a different name. I asked my mom why she never told me. She wouldn't answer. Then one night, while cleaning the attic, I found a box my dad had kept from his old job. He used to work maintenance at the local psychiatric hospital, same one Ruth had stayed in briefly, years before she bought the house across from ours. Inside the box? Old intake papers. Copies of letters. One letter from Ruth. Addressed to my dad. It read, "He's the only one I ever felt safe with. Please make sure he stays close. Just for a little while." Signed with her full name. And beneath it, in pen, written in my dad's handwriting, 2 nights only. Then she's done. I felt sick. All these years. My parents knew something. They didn't tell me. Maybe they didn't know how deep it went. Maybe they thought it was just a favor. But they still let her near us. Let her inside our lives. I haven't spoken to them since. Jason eventually got out of the hospital. He doesn't talk to Sarah anymore. Doesn't talk much to anyone, honestly. He moved out of state, Montana, I think. Said he wanted cold air and distance. As for Ruth, she died before the trial. Heart failure. No final words. No confession. No justice. Tom was never found. Some think he faked his death in that fire. Others think he's still out there, using another name, watching more houses. And me? I moved. Took Laura and the kids, left Springfield behind. But I can't run from it. Not fully. Some nights I sit in my new living room and stare out the window. And I wonder how many other Ruths are still out there. Watching. Waiting.